Was a warm up. All right.
All right, all right. Well,
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
yes, we're back. We're officially on.
Yes.
So welcome to WJZZ Cool TV. You'll get down and dirty talking art, and we are here. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, so you got Calibri and you got me, Deb. So we're here, and we got three amazing guests. So
Yes.
welcome.
So, as we were saying before we officially went live,
Yeah.
sorry for the kinks, you guys. We have our first guest of the year 2023, who was also our first guest of 2022. Very appropriate.
How perfect.
Miss Valerie Fair. So everybody
Yeah.
give a warm welcome.
Hello.
So,
Please don't.
Valerie, could you tell us, we have two wonderful guests with you. Would you mind doing the honor of introducing the ladies that are on with you?
Yes, I have with me Marsha Battle Philpott and Charlene Nursery.
Yes.
Did I say that right? Marsha,
We can't, I don't think you can hear her.
Marsha Battle Philpott.
Mm-hmm.
Marsha,
Are you, I don't know if
It's
she's,
cutting out on you, Miss Marsha, but Miss
Yeah.
Marsha Philpott.
yes.
Marsha,
Marsha Music?
Yes.
Ah, ha, ha.
okay.
Yes.
Music,
Yes.
love it. And Charlene Usury.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, ladies. Thank you
Shirley.
so much for joining us.
And then the first official,
For having us.
this is our first guest of the year.
Yes.
So we're really excited to have you guys.
Yes.
This is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what makes it special, especially starting off the year, is for those of you who tuned in to last year's episode with Valerie Fair. Valerie has a project with calendars honoring different artists, and we started off last year with visionary artists who the cover was Cleety Taylor.
Yes,
And we had
correct.
Shirley Woodson on,
Right.
we had Judy Bowman, we had just legendary artists on. And Miss Valerie has done it again.
Yes. The second,
Couldn't get enough of it, so she's done it again for the new year. So could you tell us about the new calendar?
First, I want to thank you, Calibre, and Debbie for being so gracious to host me again this year.
we're honored.
And thanks to my artist participants who gratefully went to Bill, who is the greatest photographer of all time, and had their picture taken.
Bill
Thank you.
Sanders. Yes.
Yeah.
For those of you who are familiar, Bill Sanders is the photographer behind this project. The images are absolutely incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely
yes.
incredible.
And we have incredible looking, ladies that were,
Participants, yeah.
filmed, which really makes sense.
Exactly.
And they're beautiful, all their clothing and everything. It's like, it's quite amazing. Beautiful, beautiful.
So last year you did visionary artists. This year you were honoring Orishas. Am I saying that right? Orishas? Could you
Yes.
tell us a bit
Yes,
about, well, number one, what is an Orisha for those of us who may not know?
Right.
Well, I just want to backtrack a minute and talk about last year. We created a calendar titled Visionary Artists, which included, luminaries in the art field in Detroit. And these were artists who I felt were being underrepresented. And this year, the Orisha calendar was made for the same purpose, to bring to the front a way of life that had been relegated to the dungeons of history. And it's a philosophy that others would call a religion, and that's okay because I have no problem with any of the religions of the world. However, my understanding is that the system of the Orishas is a part of nature. Being a part of nature and humanity is an intrinsic part of that nature. So it is within each and every one of us to be a custodian of nature and not to cause harm. For example, the environmental movement. And so what is an Orisha?
Yeah.
And I'll let Charlene and Marcia give their definition, but they originated in West Africa, and I got feedback, so I hear myself twice. The way of life originated in West Africa with the Yoruba people. And the Yoruba is divided into many nations such as Afan, We, and Bini. The way of life they established was called Ife. They are considered deities, and some would call them angels or saints. They are mythological ideas or constructs meant to satisfy the people. And the people who were forcibly transported during the enslavement period did not come empty-handed nor empty-headed. The people were dispersed around the world: Portugal, England, Spain, Cuba, Haiti, North and South America. They brought the way of doing everything, which included planting, cooking, cleaning, dancing, language, and for this discussion particularly, their philosophy of life. Now, this system was created to allow humans to aspire to be the highest they could be, meaning the kindest people, the most knowledgeable people in the world. And they came down from Kemet, which also had a system very similar. In fact, the first civilization down to West Africa, like Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast, and they created the Yoruba's religion. But their ideas were the same. And even though the names changed, some of the names, they're very similar, and the idea or philosophy was similar. Some of the Orishas as that was presented in the calendar was Olaran, Oduwa, Oya, Oba, Yimani. Is that how you pronounce it, Charlene? We need you to talk up. Can you hear?
Yes, we hear you.
Can you hear? Okay. These are just special Elegba, also known as by many names, Shango, Obatala. And there was, among this philosophy, there was no Satan or devil. And that's very important to know.
So that you were
And
responsible for your own actions.
that you are exactly responsible for your own actions. And the Yoruba decided to, instead of worshiping something outside of themselves, worship what was in them, and their whole way of life was to become the best person possible. And so they also got advice from the elders or the people who had passed, like our grandmothers, our mothers, our great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers. So these were the people that the Yoruba, I won't say, revere was the word that I want to use, but not, this is very hard because I'm hearing this,
Well, if it's city, we don't hear it.
You're good.
So you're
But,
fine on this end.
I know it's hard when you got feedback.
yeah, it's hard because I hear myself, like I say, and it's horrible. I sound horrible. But anyway, some of the features that we would recognize today are like the coolness that we in Black culture is a big thing. And when somebody is cool, we say that we say cool, their coolness, and we see their way of life, their way of being in the world. It's just easy. And we also, with different forms that it took, was praise dancing, shouting, the call and response, the music, speaking in tongues, intense preaching, field hollering, and of course, the superheroes that are of today. And we have to recognize that.
Yeah, you had mentioned that previously, that a lot of the superheroes that we see in media and film
Right.
derived or at least mimic a lot of the Orishas.
Yeah, for instance, Shango gave rise to Captain America, the double-headed axe, god of thunder, lightning, and his colors. And Wolverine mimicked Ogun and the Hulk. And they use the same colors, blades, and also blades of steel, which Wolverine used, which when he wanted to tap into his power, he his hands became swords. And then, of course, Oya, gave rise to Storm. And Storm is lightning, and she's among the clouds. So I don't want to talk about the Orisha forever. I want to bring in my the other artists
Sure.
who have maybe perhaps a different way of seeing it.
Yeah. Well, just hold that thought. We just want to remind our viewers that you're watching Get Down and Dirty Talking Art on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world.
Yeah.
We're here with Calibri the artist.
And Debbie LaBrette, the artist.
That's right. And we're talking about the newest, the latest installation to the Valerie Fair series, for lack of a better word. I hope they go on each annual go on. But
You're
we're
so
here with
sweet.
Miss Valerie Fair, Charlene Usury, and Miss Marsha Music, who are featured in this year's calendar. So as we get into it, Charlene, you were first. I know you had a thought, so I want to give you a chance to finish your thought.
I'm hearing exactly just like Val said that when it was in Africa, it wasn't a, and it's important to understand magic music dance involved. I thought about it, and I guess the reason why I never see all of these here to the hawk, and also so we're right because the Wolverine had sharp, and that is Ogun. Ogun, his colors are green and black, but he deals with sharp eye together until Val just mentioned. I, you know, as I said, don't see any of those movements. Um, what fast this religion became a religion came to the New World
Mm-hmm.
in Africa and languages, the native language.
Mm-hmm.
Religion is a European, and so religion when it came to other parts of the world, how the enslaved were a religion, like in Cuba, where I'm from because I'm Cuban, and I go to be the Cuban, then their religion was Catholicism,
Mm-hmm.
and so the Orisha, they're angels. You can they will be pit angel or saint. The enslaved supposedly were Catholic saint,
Mm-hmm.
but in reality, the deity were familiar with Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So the able to survive
Hmm.
religion. And a lot of people who do, they don't give it credit. This is a world religion, meaning that people all over this religion, and they take it very. In Cuba, I'm gonna say religion, and kind of way, even if the super whatever they're practicing and say things that go on,
Mm-hmm.
and they may incorporate, even though they're like their friend could be
Mm-hmm.
practicing. Um, it's into this religion. You are your own personal, the personal Orisha, and this you because you have a Godfather learns all will choose an Orisha similar qualities to
Mm-hmm.
and Jews so that you can live a life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's fascinating every time I do something new. The dance seems beautiful. It tells you about the are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
There's still stories. The stories are called
Well, I have to say, I'm learning so much, especially from you, Charlene. Even when we spoke before, just I'm one of those people that were really ignorant to it, and then there's not a lot of information that you can really get online. Should you
Mm-hmm.
try to, I know everything's online, but when you try to dig deep,
There's not nothing out there.
yeah, and
Yeah.
for it to be such a worldwide
Mhm.
concept or back, I had no idea when you were saying that this goes into Cuba and it goes into all these different
Right.
countries.
I was really
you
shocked about
know
all that when I
well,
started hearing that. I
it's
was like, oh my
fascinating.
God,
It's
yeah.
fascinating. It's kind of like we know it without knowing them.
Right,
Right.
right, right,
you
right, right,
know
right.
Hidden in plain sight.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We're all imitating and impersonating without knowing, because of course I know Thor.
Yeah.
Of course,
Right.
but I wouldn't have known. That's why I'm so I'm personally thrilled about the project because it really does, it educates, and it educates in a very beautiful way.
Right.
Um, I
And
wanted to know more about.
let me say one more
Go ahead.
is that it's important that this was the system
Hmm.
that the lives of our ancestors over and said that it, were disrespecting it. It provided order.
Hmm.
It taught them to other
Hmm.
ancestors because in the ancestors are very important.
Hmm.
And it also taught responsibility. I said earlier, you are responsible. There's no devil
Right.
thing. You are
Responsible for
responsible.
yourself.
You do harm. There is karma. There is karma. So that's important to understand. This well, it's a religion now, but gave you everything in order to live a good life. And it doesn't mean a lot of money or anything. It's to be truthful to yourself and to your family and honor.
And to your community.
Yeah,
It extends to everybody.
yeah,
Yeah,
like a
it
code.
does.
Yeah.
A code.
Yeah.
And I love that you touched on the ancestors, especially now, because that's a lot of we really have gotten away from that. I think in modern society, not not just African culture, but
But
just
everybody,
modern
yeah.
society, yes, or just self accountability. We're not tapped in that way, to have pride in ourselves, or have something to
Right.
live
Right.
by, or
Right. Right.
even someone else to honor.
Right.
Um, so I
Right.
love it.
Right. 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 Right.
And what I will say too, because we spoke originally about doing the project, Valerie, and I was very honored to be approached. But again, in my ignorance, because I am Christian, and I try to do research on anything that I'm part of, and I couldn't grasp what was going on. So it was one of those like, well, let me kind of bow out. But I'm grateful for that because I would not have done this justice. When I see the people, because there are men in this calendar too. We didn't say
That's
that there are
right. That's
men in
right.
this calendar.
Yeah.
Then we
We have a man's calendar.
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it, the
Yeah.
people, but it's just the job that you all did. See, there you go, guys.
There it
The
is.
job that they did embodying these orishas. It feels like, okay, our ancestors showing us how to do it. I don't know if they came through, y'all, but you showed
Yeah.
out.
Right. Right. Right.
Now, who's involved? How many artists are involved? Because I want to say, Miss Marsha Music, you've got the cover of this one,
That's
correct?
right. She is the cover. Beautiful. I mean, she was
Beautiful
outstanding.
photograph.
How did you decide who would be involved, and who decided
Yeah.
who would depict which Orisha?
Well, I had picked people, number one artists, and I knew that they would hopefully know where I was coming from. Marsha did an outstanding job in being photographed,
Oh yeah.
and so that's why she got the cover. The colors were on point, and after looking at all of the photographs, I just made the final cut, and she was picked. Dwight was picked because, number one, his artwork has always used the Adinkra symbols of the Ashanti people. Am I saying that right? So we had to include him as an Orisha, and as you can see, he did. He brought it. That's what he did. He brought it.
So,
And so
yeah.
that's how they were picked. And all of the participants were artists or collectors in some way, form, or fashion.
I have a question for you guys. How did you feel when she asked you to be part of the calendar? Was you just like excited, nervous, happy, joyous, or just like, celebrate? I think it's a beautiful honor. Marcia, how did you feel when she asked you to be?
Yeah, I was honored. I'm still honored.
Okay. Marcia, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, how did you feel when she asked you to be part of the calendar?
I was honored to be asked because the previous calendar was so significant. Uh, Honored to be a part of a series like this about these individuals. I think that it's normal.
We don't hear it on
I
our
did think that
end.
too.
Okay, all right. So I, to be a part of a series that include Dr. Taylor and others was nothing but an honor. Um, so I was honored to be included. And then it was excited because if nothing else, I am a sarcasm and that I dress for art. And I had a very special garment that I had purchased last year. That was originated in Northern Africa, and I bought from a store overseas. And I had nowhere in particular to wear it, and and it was an
Excuse me.
for me to wear this spectacular textile. And so that was another thing that spurred me to participate.
And got the cover.
I know. And the outfit and the jewelry. And she was talking about, she talked about the necklace being so heavy.
Yes. What was it like shooting? Because I know, Marcia, you had an interesting time shooting with Bill Sanders. Would you tell us about that?
Well, first is I am in the course I photograph a lot. But I had never been really formally photographed by Bill Sanders. And he is a legend
Yes.
in Detroit.
Yes.
And I could see him down through the years. And it was such an honor to be, anticipating the photograph of him. So after a number of starts and stops, different schedules sometimes, 5 months of scheduling with Mr. Saunders, and it happened so that it was on the hottest day in Detroit that year. And it was extremely hot, and it was downtown. And I know by many people for not going far away from my home. I tend to stay in a very close comfort zone near my home. I don't like to out and don't like driving anywhere. And here this schedule way across and it's 90 degrees outside.
Ooh, Jesus.
And so, but I now because I had committed to family that I would do this, and I was just so stressed and direct. I was having such a hard time. And then I got there and and I got lost. I got turned around. I couldn't figure out where his space was. And it got out of the car and it was like walking into an oven. And it was so hot. And I was getting anticipating going inside and putting off pictures in there. And I was freaked out. But he was a kind, patient person because he's a real professional and he's been doing this for a decade. But, and he's me many at various events, but not for portraits. And so I arrived. He was so generous, and he left the office and came up to meet me, got me to the place in my car. He was on his phone, and he tried to get back to where I was supposed to be because I was lost. And then after, we got inside the building, we got started. I was covered with sweat. I was, all my makeup was on. I had to start makeup all over again. And I had heavy, these garments on, and jewelry that was so heavy. And so it was a eventful, but it obviously turned out impressive. And that was what it was.
Well, it turned out lovely. I mean, to look at it,
Oh, God.
you know, I always love the stories behind the images because you never know.
Yeah.
You know, you
So
see
it's
this
the
bold
backstory.
presence.
I call it the backstory.
Yeah, and of course the garment,
Oh.
you know, the beads, you know, there it is, you know, you have such a stoic presence.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't know that it was 1,000 degrees and everything that you
Right.
had.
I'm sure I'm smiling. I'm smiling in the picture. Oh well.
Was there anything that you ladies really felt like you wanted to capture through your
Like your
Orishas?
story.
Well, yeah. Was there anything in particular that you know you needed to showcase in order to do that Orisha justice, or just period? This is to any of you.
I I I decided to wear very important color of religion. Color that people honor the Orishas. Color that Africans tend
There she is.
to funeral.
Wow.
The ancestors. And today, you know, you hear word which comes directly African of honor, which is so important. Religion, the ancestors are important because it helps you in a lot of particular ceremonies. Ceremonies in Africa, they are honored because your ancestors will watch over. That's why I am friends with his name is Manuel Mendivi, and artist in Cuba. He's enough in Cuba today, and he's some kind of white, the religion, and that this history is the religious. So that's why. And I also wore a blue to
Mhm.
recognize Yemen. Yemen, yeah,
Mhm.
it's the and that was important. Everybody, the children know Yemen like how the children here knows that everybody just. And then I carry
Mhm.
flowers to and Ochun and Yemen, yeah, sisters. It has all been what, but very important deity because she is the sexuality,
Mhm.
want to get pregnant, is a person that can help you get. She
Mhm.
too is a very itchy, and so these colors. Um, some of you, and Beyonce came out with them,
I saw that.
and that she has a yellow. She is going around. She has a bag,
Mhm.
and she
I saw that when she
her with
was.
the bag.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
she tuned. She is the people in Cuba, and she or spoke with some people about, and I'm sure that spoke with her told her is Ochun.
Mhm.
That's why she decided to regular video.
Mhm.
What
I,
about you,
I would
Marcia?
like to ancestors and for Yemen, yeah, her colors are more yellow for Ochun.
Mhm. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think you did well, everyone did
Everybody
a
did a great
fantastic
job.
job.
Yeah.
But you
Yes.
embodied, when I look at your photo, there's just such a
Presence.
femininity to
Yeah,
it.
that's what I
Well,
was
it's
thinking.
just it's so elegant, but it's
Calmness.
it's soft.
Yeah.
There's a
Right.
softness
Right.
to it that
Right.
just
Right.
draws you in. I don't know if it's because you got that photography eye, so you know the
Yeah.
pose.
Yeah. Yeah. You know.
But it's just the colors, everything. It's wonderful that you put that much thought into it because it really does. It translates.
Mm-hmm.
It translates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you pick? Which month you wanted the ladies on? Or did they pick which month they wanted to be a part of, or how did that work?
No, I just put the ladies wherever. Yeah,
Okay,
I
I
didn't
didn't know
think
if
about
the
that. It was
ladies had a
more
certain
of
month they
the
wanted or what.
photograph itself and the Orisha that they decided to represent. Yeah, so
Now,
that was the
Marsha, I know that.
decision
Oh, I'm sorry.
there.
Now, Marsha, I know that you had someone in mind that you were representing. Could you tell us about your photo and your art that you brought to it?
Well, primarily, I was interested in uh, expressing myself
Mhm.
as a Christian woman.
Mhm.
However, showing respect for very deep African tradition.
Mhm.
Uh, I um, I am of the school that believes that Christianity is white man
Mhm.
because I believe that Christianity preceded our relationship with the West by
Mhm.
centuries. That being said,
uh, it Christianity in Africa was a number of various religions in Africa, and many of those other religions were demonized by because they were associated with African. And so I wanted to get my physical appearance for this calendar. I wanted to, on the one hand, honor the project, and wanted to my own Christian beliefs. So I wore very major beads, but with a Coptic cross. The Coptics are a religious group in Ethiopia. Some of the earliest Christians, earliest Christians. And so I wanted to make sure that I present that duality because many places in the world, African people, black people, have melded these two systems together into belief systems. And so I just want to be respectful of Valerie's vision and her project, her vision. I also had these garments, this particular garment that I had bought from a very important textile in Europe that came from Northern Africa. And I wanted to make sure that all of these things were represented in a certain.
I love the photo. Absolutely do. And I guess
I know, I know.
lost for words.
You know,
I just think it's just such an amazing project, and I think you all did such a fabulous job.
right,
You know,
right. You know,
And I think you would have done an excellent job too, Calibri.
well, I don't
But
know.
yes,
I want to point you to some learning
Like
sources.
I am an artist,
Yes,
and you
it
want
could have been a good
to
one.
portray and do it
and I have
justice.
no problem, like I said, with any of the other religions because they all come from Africa
Yes, yes.
Next
and
time.
the Yoruba,
Right.
the way
I
of
didn't know you
seeing.
asked her. Now I'm going to bug her.
Oh, good.
But if you want to explore sources, you can watch videos on YouTube. You can go to the library, and there's multiple books. It's like you have to look for it.
Of course, yes,
It's there,
yes.
but you just have to look for it and know what you're looking at. And as an artist, I was exposed to it very early because it's a different way of seeing the world.
I want to know.
And as artists, we're a little rebellious that way.
Yeah. I want to know what makes you. Why is it important for you to create these projects,
Yeah.
and why a calendar?
Well, it's important for me to bring to light that which has been hidden. I mean, whether it's artists of color, the Orishas, and there's multiple things. And I mean, the family simply, we have a distorted view of black families.
Yes.
And we exist just like everybody else. In fact, we are like everybody else. Everybody is like us.
Yes.
Okay? So it was very important for me to represent our community as we really are. I mean, we're not any better or worse than anybody else. We have the same life issues as any other group of people. And so it's important for me, after all these years and all the distortions, to bring the reality to light.
What audience would you
I,
say?
I, that, that is very well just said.
I can't hear you, Charlie.
It's what I do in my taking a culture.
Hmm.
Most of the world knows nothing with these Africans,
That's true.
and there are a different way to
Hmm.
communicate, and that is very important. I believe the geographers are European,
Hmm.
not they're African symbol.
Hmm.
Important thing to my work that is being of my work is that I'm teaching that most people have
Hmm.
no it is very very important to the world. Just like what Val was teaching something that know nothing about, and that people of the African diaspora, because once again this is done everything.
Yes.
Um, civilization. You talk, work, and live with other
Yes.
people, but the Europeans that the Africans were uncivilized.
Hmm.
No,
Right.
with
The
this
distortion.
taught us to appreciate.
Ourselves and our
No,
culture.
it's very very.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I actually that was going to be my next question. What
I can't hear you.
and I think Charlene hit it on the head, just highlighting and educating the civilization that well, I don't want to say erasing, but we've been taught for so long one way, and for me, just looking at the project, that's more than anything what I'm getting is I'm being educated on it,
Right. Right.
and this is me as the viewer.
Right.
Is that your intention, or was that your intention, Valerie, either organizing it or for the ladies who participated, is that your intention for participating?
Very much so. That was my intention for doing the calendars. It's a easy way for people to digest the truth.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that when we came here as enslaved Africans, we had our own religions. We had our own language. We had our way of being in the world. And that was kind of beaten out of us for a long time. Some of us remembered enough of it to bring it to the world and remember Sankofa. And so that's what we did. It was very important, and it is very
Yes.
important for me to address the inequity according to culture, around culture, I should say. Yeah.
Telling the story of history.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it
So
is
important.
it's a way of correcting the history, because
Yes.
the history has been distorted after all, and relegated, to the back of the mind so that we would forget it. And that was the point of the enslavers, that we forgot who we were.
Yes.
And now, for whatever reason, we're gaining back who we are.
Yes. And
And I love that.
personally thank you.
Yeah,
Because imagery is very powerful.
it
You know, in
is.
fact,
It
that's
is.
a lot of ways in which we can manipulate a people is to start with the imagery. If we show you a certain way, if we show you that this is how it looks, and then over time, you know, as you spoke on, it's something that you forget.
Right.
And you're not just with the Orishas, but the pattern or the trend that I see with you is highlighting black people in a way that depicts us as not only civilized but sophisticated
And beautiful.
and
Exactly.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
it's important for us to
Beautiful.
see these images because we rarely see them. We haven't seen them for a long time.
Yes, we are. And I mean, just within my own family, we come in a range of colors, beautiful colors.
Yes.
And we have for a very long time been told that we shouldn't appreciate the darkness of our skin. And I'm saying, look at these beautiful people.
Yeah.
How can you not
Yes.
think that they are and celebrate that?
I think it's really cool because you're teaching people about history and
Yes.
teaching them about the beauty and what was created. I find it so fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like just the history about everything and what it represents and stuff. I just think it's really awesome. You know, you guys are going to be really honored to be. You guys are creating history. You're capturing history, and it's going to live on. You know,
And
I
it's
hope
so
so.
appropriate that it's a
It is.
calendar.
Thank you, Debbie.
yeah.
You know, I forget who said it because we were talking, and then there was somebody like I don't know who used calendar, and everybody put their calendars up.
Yeah,
Because we
yeah.
all still use calendars, but it's
Yes.
so appropriate because not everybody, unfortunately, especially for African Americans, we've kind of been tapped out of the world of collecting art. You know, that's still something that's new to us. You know, so you have these very collectible images, these very high quality images,
Oh,
these
gosh,
very
yeah.
professional artists, and just and see somebody that looks like you see somebody that you can pose, because my children are children that'll look at it and pose. They'll see him
That's
and
so
come up
cool.
and
I
do a
love
pose.
it. That's fun. That's fun.
Real quick, how much is the calendar and where can we find
That's
it?
right.
Well, you can purchase it directly online using PayPal and using VCF 2001 at hotmail.com.
Okay.
We can put
And
that on our page.
calendar is $50 and $4 additional for postage.
Okay.
They're quite heavy and quite collectible, and you can, once the year is over, you can frame the pictures.
That's a
the portraits.
Frame 'em.
Yes.
Would be a
And
beautiful-
so you have a piece of art.
Yes.
And if you can get the artist to sign it, oh my goodness,
Now, are
you
there
have a
gonna be any
wonderful
events
piece of
coming up
art.
for people to have the opportunity to do that? Will you have any in-person signings or events coming up?
Well, you and I talked about collaborating, doing something in August. And you know, that's late in the year for a calendar, but you're getting a piece of art. And so no matter when it was done and created, you have that art forever.
Now, I know that you have several at NCA, National Conference of Artists, so that's a place where you can go. Also, Harper Galleries has some as well, and you can get Henry to sign one for
Right.
you.
Yes.
Present it.
Yes.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to wrap it up, but we will
Okay.
we'll be seeing Valerie Fair again next week. We'll be
Yes.
continuing the conversation. We have Mel Orishas. We also you're bringing back the original Visionary Arts calendar as well. So for those of you who missed it
Yes.
last year, there is a 2023 version,
Mm-hmm.
and we hope to dig deeper. So I thank you for joining us. Are there any last words or comments or anything you'd like to grace our viewers with?
Well, I just want to thank you for having us, Calibri and Debbie. You don't know how much this means to me as an artist and as a historian, trying to get our culture seen as a positive thing that it has been for us always. And the particular calendar that we're doing, the Orishas, it's important, but it also is important that we understand that our culture is rich, and it didn't start with enslavement.
That's
It
right.
started way before that,
That's right.
and we were as the first people, and that's what my understanding is. As the first people, we have a lot to offer, and it's just that the world has to be receptive.
Thank you very
I
much.
would-
Yes.
Oh,
I want to say,
Which month are all you
I
guys
would like
in?
to say thank
Which month do you guys all represent?
and both Val and Khalid. So this is the falls in line. It takes a village to raise a child, to raise the awareness has gone on and people and many people the village in order to spread it that was ready to be.
mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're definitely gonna do our parts to help spread it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for
Thank you,
joining
thank
us.
you, thank you.
I do want to encourage our viewers to visit our Facebook page, Get Down and Dirty Talking Art on Facebook. We will have images there.
And then
We
we'll
weren't
share
able
the
to put them
link
up,
of-
but we'll make sure we have images there so that way you can see the beautiful images that we're talking about.
And then we can
and,
share the
follow.
link of where they can get the calendar.
That's
too.
right. That's
Yes.
right. All
Yeah.
right. So it was a pleasure
Thank
having
you,
you all,
guys.
Miss Marsha Music.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Miss Charlene Usery, and the wonderful, wonderful Miss Valerie Fair. Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you. Thank you for coming on and sharing your evening with us.
My
And you
small
guys all
part.
look fantastic.
Yes.
You know. So
Good night,
good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Uh,